The American Express Gold and Platinum are really popular cards, and there's tons of videos on YouTube, so why should you watch this one? First, I have both of these cards, and I want to just share real-life scenarios, how I've used them. You can get a lot of the features and benefits either from the website or from other videos, and we'll get to some of that here. But I want to break this down into three categories for you, or three segments of this video to make it worth your while. Feel free to jump around if you need to. At the end, I'm going to talk about sign up bonuses and how you could find the top sign up bonus, some things you should consider. In the middle, I'm going to talk about these wonderful features and benefits, the earning multipliers on the categories of where you should use these cards, and if you should consider them a daily driver, meaning use that card for everything. Here at the beginning is what are the things that you need to be aware of. So first, these are charge cards. They're not your typical credit card that has a credit limit, and then you see the utilization of that limit. With charge cards, you can't carry a balance month over month. So whether it's a charge card or a credit card, the goal is pay the balance in full every single month. Second, both of these cards from American Express have an annual fee, and there's not really much of a strategy to downgrade these cards, meaning if you go with a card like the Platinum, you can't necessarily downgrade to a zero annual fee card that's beneficial to you. Like with Chase, if you were to have the Chase Sapphire Reserve or Preferred, you can downgrade to the Freedom Unlimited or Freedom Flex, which are zero annual fee cards. Not the case with American Express. And they have a once in a lifetime welcome offer or sign up bonus. So this is a way that they lure the consumer to apply for the card, right? 80,000 points here, 100,000 points there if you sign up and spend X amount of dollars in X amount of time. So both of these cards have extended the time period in which you need to spend a certain amount, but they've increased the dollar amount. But these cards do have some of the best welcome offers of any credit card on the market or charge card, with public offers on the Platinum at 80,000, the Gold at 60,000, membership rewards points, which points are miles. You see that from different lenders. They really mean the same thing. So there's two categories of cards. There's your cashback cards. You probably see a lot of advertisements on the Citi cards, like the Citi Custom Cash. And then there's your membership rewards or points and miles that are used for team travel or for travel redemption. That's the game that I play. You can get more out of these points. It takes a little bit more time and thought in terms of redeeming points for travel, but you can get a lot more out of your return. And you can see that on a video I did recently on a trip to Portugal, where I talk about some of the redemptions and the multipliers. But all of that is subjective. It's what you would pay for that trip, that hotel or that flight, minus having a redemption, right? In terms of what's the value to you. So with the Platinum and the Gold, these are membership rewards, team travel types of cards. If you try to redeem membership rewards for cash, the value gets diluted in a big way. If you're trying to redeem points for cash, American Express is not the best way. So like Chase, you get 1 cent per 1 point, one Chase Ultimate Reward point for redemption. With American Express, of that 1 cent to 1 membership reward point, take that and then times it by 0.6, and then that's your cashback value. So big time dilution, whereas that 1 cent to 1 point, if you were to redeem them for travel, you can get 2, 3, sometimes 4 times the value of that point. So just some things to consider. So charge cards, annual fee, welcome or sign up bonuses, right off the top, those are things that you need to consider with these cards. The American Express Gold is my favorite card. It's in my wallet at all times. It is our dedicated food card. I use it for all of our groceries, whether we're going online with like an Instacart or going in store. We spend a lot on groceries. We have a family of 4 and 2 kids that one of the 2 at least eats everything in our pantry at all times. So we spend north of $1,000 a month on groceries, sometimes pushing double that. That is the primary use case for the Gold. It gets 3x membership rewards on flights. I wouldn't recommend using it for that. But the value with American Express and how it differentiates from some of the other lenders is you can book directly with the airline. Whereas like with Capital One, you have to book through a travel portal to get 5x back on flights. I don't want to do that. It's like Expedia type of experience. And I'm not looking for that. I want to book directly with an airline. And a lot of times for work, I have to use a system called Concur, but I get the full value being able to book directly with the airline. So I can use my American Express Platinum to book flights. And we'll get to that. So the Gold is your dedicated food card. It's a hybrid luxury everyday type of card because it gets 3x membership rewards on flights, 4x on food, and then 1x everywhere else. Could I use the Gold card as my everyday card? And how does that compare to, one of these cards that may get you 1.5x back, or like a catch-all that gets you 2x back, so that you could see what cards make the most sense, because it can get a little bit overwhelming. So along those lines, I use an app called Max Rewards, and they're not a sponsor here, but it is where I put all of my credit cards into this system, and I'm able to see bill due dates, credit utilization. I can track sign-up bonuses and how close I am to hitting a sign-up bonus, because like with the American Express cards on their website or their app, you can't see your progress. You have to use their messenger or call in to see what progress you are to hitting the sign-up bonus based on the minimum spend. Whereas if you use Max Rewards, you can do all of that in there and track all of that. It'll also show you which cards are the best based on a restaurant, a bar, a clothing retailer, like wherever you're going, it'll show you based on your cards that you put into the system. There's some authentication processes. It is a secure app. So you put your cards in there and it'll show you where to use which card. So that's Max Rewards. And maybe one day they'll be a sponsor of this video. We'll see. So here's a scenario that I want to walk you through in terms of food and maybe a card that you use for groceries today. And this happens often. You may use a credit card that gets you 1x or 2x back at the grocery store. Don't get me wrong. That happens a lot. Maybe that card benefits you in other ways, or maybe you're using a debit card, God forbid, or paying cash at the grocery store, which is even worse. So if you were to use a card that gets you 1x back and you spend $1,000 a month or $12,000 a year, that would net you 12,000 reward points from that card over the course of a year. So say it's like a Chase card, right? And you're using that card and you're getting 1x at the grocery store. You have those 12,000 points. You could either redeem those for cash, right? And get the cash equivalent at 12,000 points, or 1 cent of that, $120. Or you could use a card like the American Express Gold. So that same amount of spending, right? $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year at the grocery store with the American Express Gold would net you 48,000 points. So 36,000 more points. At a minimum, that's a $360 increase in value just by using this card. So that right there already offsets the $250 annual fee. But you have sites like NerdWallet and the Points Guy, which value American Express membership rewards points at north of 2 cents per point in terms of value. So think of that $360 return is now at a minimum $720. And the way to get that is by booking redemption travel. So it's taking these points that you're building, right? So with American Express, the Platinum and the Gold, they do all combine into membership rewards points. So you could quickly build up this massive bank of points and then use them for a trip. Internationally is typically the best way to get the best redemptions, but you could do it domestically as well. But it's to take these points and then to transfer them out to one of American Express's 18 airline transfer partners or 3 hotels. And the hotels, you've got Marriott, Hilton, and Choice. Marriott and Hilton are great. And a lot of times they run specials where it's like a 2-for-1. So that's where it makes the most sense in terms of booking hotels through this, is when you get like one of these bonus offers and you can get 2 membership rewards points equals 1 Marriott Bonvoy point. And with the airlines, a lot of times they run 20, 30, 40% bonuses. So you could transfer these out to one of the airlines like British Airways through the Avios program. And then you could book even domestic flights like American Airlines flights through British Airways. And so that's what I was talking about. There's a little more strategy and tact that goes into this, but the redemptions, you could get a lot more for your money if you were to do it this way. And comment if you have questions or want to talk a little bit more about redemptions, or watch that other video I did on redemptions, and you could see a little bit more about like how to go about this. So The transfer partner game is where you're going to get that max elevation of the value of these points. If you're just to take cash, I reiterate, I would not go the route of American Express. Okay, let's talk credits. So with the Gold card, there are 2 primary credits to help offset the annual fee. And if you use these to the fullest, you end up with a net $10 annual fee. But consider the scenario I just walked through and the elevated value just by spending at the grocery store and using this card. So the first is an Uber cash credit. And this is in the form of $120 annually. It's broken down into $10 per month. It's use it or lose it. It does not roll over. So you need to use the $10 per month. The way to enroll in this is you put your Gold card into your Uber wallet. So go to the Uber app, go to the wallet, add your Gold card, and then you'll start receiving that $10 credit per month. You can use it on Uber Eats for pickup or delivery. That's what I typically do. So that's how you can maximize this Uber credit. The other is a dining credit. And this is the participants are Grubhub, Shake Shack, Cheesecake Factory. There's a couple others. Grubhub is the primary use case here. It's going to give you the most options. The way this works is you order something through the Grubhub app, and then you receive a $10 statement credit every single month when you use this credit. So you need to use these 2 if you want to offset that annual fee. The third part here is access to the hotel collection. The hotel collection is a nice network of hotels. And with this, you do receive, if you book for 2 nights or more, you receive a $100 experience credit for the hotels. And you could use this at the spa if the hotel has one, or the mini bar, or, coffees and beverages on the property, that kind of thing. So it's a nice way to offset some of the fees that you pay at a hotel. And just to summarize with the Gold card, you may have noticed there's very few categories where this earns elevated earning potential, meaning 3x on flights, 4x on your food, 1x everywhere else. So you need to think about that, because if your top spend categories are rent or gas or unrelated items to this card, maybe there are some other options for you, like the Built MasterCard for rent. That way you can get points back for paying rent. Or Chase has a good card lineup for gas. Things like that you need to consider. Certainly comment if you have any questions or would like recommendations on other cards. So now let's move on to the Platinum card. And the Platinum card, I want to reiterate, this card is not for everybody. And it's not just a matter of how much money you make. And I think we're seeing that in a shift in the youth now gaining access to this card. It's more about the money you spend and where you spend it. So if you're booking a lot of travel, if you are spending a lot of time in airports and you want to get the premium lounge access, that sort of thing, this is the card for you to give you the travel protections, the primary rental car coverage, status with rental car players, Hertz, National, and Avis, status with some of the hotels like Marriott and Hilton giving you Gold status. Like, this is the card for that. If you're using this card for spending at the grocery store or paying for fancy dinners, like, this is not the best method. But stay tuned to the end, because I'm going to show you a way where this card actually could be used for restaurants, at least, within the first 6 months of using it. And case in point here, I have a family member, looking at you, Mom. She was using this card for all of her grocery purchases and had no idea that it was only 1x back. She just thought it was a great card and that I'm supposed to use it and they could flash this thing around and look at this, I have this wonderful Platinum card. And that's not the case. So I had an intervention. We sat down. She applied for and was approved for using my referral link with the Gold card. She is now a responsible user of the Gold card for all of her food purchases and is reaping the benefits. So there is hope for everyone. So my favorite part about this card, I kind of mentioned this earlier, it's access to the premium airport lounges. With the Platinum card, you get access to Centurion lounges. There's a bunch of them around the country. I'm not going to give you a number. You could go to the Centurion website and see that. And then they've started rolling out a next tier for like your mid-regional airports with the Escape Lounge network. I think there's one in Minneapolis, one in Columbus, some places like that, like Fort Lauderdale. These Escape Lounges are nice. They're a little smaller. They're not as fancy as the Centurion lounges, whereas Centurion lounges are the epitome of class. They're starting to get passed by with Chase and Capital One with some of the new lounges there, but we'll get to that. Or check out my other video where I compare the Platinum card to the Capital One Venture X and talk a little bit about this lounge network, because those other lounge networks, Chase and Capital One, they're great, but there's very few of them, whereas the Centurion Lounge network is well established. They're in a lot of big airports where a lot of us are spending time with connections, Charlotte and Dallas and things like that. And you can get a lot of value. Like I place around a $30 value on these lounges every time I visit. They have been overcrowded recently. I think we're seeing that dialing back a little bit with authorized user fees now on the Platinum card. It's $195 per authorized user. So that's going to cut back on access to these lounges and just the increase in the annual fee and some difficulty with using these credits. So some of the other networks, along with the Centurion, the Escape Lounge network, Priority Pass, meh for the US. It's okay internationally. I went to a few of these in Europe and it was like going to a small break room at an office building. Not really my jam. And then Delta Sky Clubs. These are nice. I went to one in LaGuardia recently. It was really nice. It wasn't overcrowded. Every bit as nice as the Centurion lounges I've been to. They don't give you as many options in terms of like drinks and craft drinks, but it's still a good option. This card does get you 5X on flights. And this is the beautiful thing about this card. Booked either directly with the airline or through their travel portal. All these other cards out there, you have to book through their travel portal. With this one, you can use it and book directly with the airline. That's a huge piece of value for me, and I want to reiterate that. This card does come with a list of credits that'll really make or break the experience and the value for you with this card. Some have this card and don't use any of the credits, and some use every bit of value of these credits. I use the majority of them. I use the Uber credit. So with the Platinum card, it's $15 a month and then $35 in the month of December. So $200 annually. It is the use it or lose it style, but you can combine this with the Uber credit from the Gold card if you're using both cards. And then, you're getting $25 a month and then $45 in the month of December. So a great way to get some additional value. There's a $240 digital entertainment credit. Disney Plus is the only one I'm going to mention here. So Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu all combined. You use this card, you pay for your Disney Plus monthly subscription, you receive a credit every single month back on your statement for spending with the AMEX Platinum. The Platinum card has a hotel collection and the Fine Hotels and Resorts collection. And with the Platinum card, these are more like your luxury style hotels. There's a ton of them. Like booking through the American Express Travel Portal is pretty easy to do with this, and it's a great way to get some additional value and feel like a big shot at one of these hotels. We used it on our trip to Portugal. You get a $200 statement credit back for the hotel purchase. So if you're spending $250 a night, it's $500 in total. That'll net you $300, and then with that, you get free breakfast every morning at the property and a $100 experience credit. We used it for things like minibar. That adds up pretty quickly. So, you can use that on the restaurant on the property, the spa, or whatever they have. It's an easy way to get additional value. There's a $200 airline fee credit. There's some different ways you can use this. So your checked bag fees, your seat upgrades, your in-flight entertainment. But there's a couple other travel hacks like purchasing Travel Bank through United. If you fly United at all, you know what that means. Comment down below here if you have any questions. I could provide some additional strategies, like ways you could purchase a gift card for part of the flight and then book the rest. So when you apply a gift card, it codes differently and you can use this travel credit. So there's some ways that you can kind of beat the system with this airline fee credit. Okay, so just to quickly wrap up with these credits, there's a Walmart Plus credit. I think the value is $155. That's subjective. It comes with Paramount Plus, but Paramount Plus has ads in this subscription, so it's not really my jam. There's a Clear credit, which is $189 in value. Great for the congested airports. Sometimes Clear is more crowded than the regular TSA line. And with that, this comes with that TSA credit as well. There's a $100 Saks credit here, Saks Fifth Avenue, $50 January through June, $50 July through December. Can't buy anything at Saks for less than $50. This credit can help you if you're looking to buy something as a gift, or you can combine this with Amex offers and get a $80 candle for $15. So some things to consider. And then your primary coverages that any of these luxury cards have. So primary rental car coverage, status with rental car, cell phone protection. So all the good perks that you would expect with the luxury card. So as you can see, this is not a card for simplicity, meaning there's a lot of credits that you need to use in order to maximize the value of this annual fee. You don't have to. You could just pay $695 a year and just use this card at grocery stores like my mom was doing. But, it's really up to you, however you want to use it. I would recommend getting the value out of these credits. You do need to enroll in most of these. The app and the website make it super simple to do this. There's just an enroll now button. It'll show you if you've enrolled, and then you could track your progress and see the credits or the value that you're getting out of every single one of these. I didn't even mention the Equinox credit. So there's a few others that I didn't mention. Feel free to go back and look at the American Express website on those. All right, so I'm going to walk you through a scenario now with comparing another card that you may be using today and then using the Gold and the Platinum as the only cards in your setup. So let's say right now you're using a Chase card, and on average, you're spending $50,000 a year on that card, and it's netting you 2x back. So that's going to accrue 100,000 points over the course of the year. And if you want to cash those points out at a 1 cent to 1 point ratio, that's going to net $1,000. Okay. So that same $50,000 spend, I'm going to break this down a little further. So say that $50,000 spend is $5,000 on flights, $20,000 on food, and then $25,000 everywhere else. Right. So the $5,000 on flights that we could book directly with the airline is going to net us 25,000 points with the Platinum card. The 20,000 on food, restaurants, grocery, that's going to net you 80,000 points. So the 80,000 and the 25,000, you're already surpassing the other card setup, right? So we're at 105,000 points. And then we have the 25,000 miscellaneous. If we use these cards, we're only getting 1x back there. But if we combine that, that's 130,000 points. And you may want to consider even looking at like the Blue Business Plus. Yes, it's a business card, but if you're a real estate agent or you have a small side business or driving for Uber or whatever it may be, you can apply for this card. You would get approved. And that is like a 2x catch-all card. So you're going to double your miscellaneous spend. So now we go from 130,000, we're adding another 25,000 points. So we're at 155,000. So an additional 55,000 points. But scrap that example and let's go back down to the 1x on the miscellaneous. So 130,000 points. That 130,000 points, if we take the value of transferring membership rewards points out to the transfer partners, on average, we're seeing a value of 2 cents per membership reward point, right? So that 130,000 points, I transfer them out. On average, I'm seeing 260,000 points in value, or at that same calculation of the cash rate, that's $2,600 in value. So $1,600 in additional value for just using these two cards versus your other card setup. Now, you need to factor in that the annual fees, and if you're able to maximize the credits to offset those annual fees. But this is a huge uptick in terms of the value that you're receiving out of dollars that you're already spending. So it's not like you're having to spend additional to get value out of these. And we're not even factoring in sign-up bonuses. Everybody has their own setup, but I wanted to walk you through this scenario just so you could do some calculations for yourself.